Hello everyone, welcome back to another Rosie video. And as fans of the channel that have been around for a little bit might notice something a little different. I'm clean shaven for the first time in a month and a week or something like that. Not a super long time, but I just decided to switch it up here. So freshly shaven, I look like my age again. But anyways, on to Star Wars, the exciting part. We got some awesome news today, and the news is that there are spoilers for the next set. So set two, I believe it's called Shadows of the Galaxy. I think does it say it anywhere here? Oh, right here. Yep. Set two, Shadows of the Galaxy releases Friday, July 12th. So, we didn't get a whole lot, but we did get about 10, 12 cards, something like that. And we got the reveal of the starter decks, which are going to be Mandalorian and Moff Gideon starter decks, which is awesome. What better ones to represent? I mean, they were rumored already to be the starter deck, so we kind of saw it coming. I saw it coming, at least. I'd seen that. Um, but what better like duo to put against each other in starter decks? I think there will be some more cool starter deck combinations, especially if they're going to do a starter deck every set. It seems like that's the route they're going to go with it, especially if they're dropping a starter set starter set on set two. Um, but it's a good combination, I think. But anyway, right here we have the Mandalorian cards, and then we'll look at the Moff Gideon cards right afterwards. But this is the Mandalorian unit flipped over. He's a cost 6. He's a yellow and hero, 4/7 Mandalorian bounty hunter, and his ability is when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust an enemy unit with 6 or less remaining HP. So that's a static ability. So every time you play an upgrade, you don't have to exhaust Mando to be able to do it. You can just do it. It's pretty solid. Obviously, he's supposed to be kind of a Voltron type leader, or the closest thing you can get to Voltron, I would assume. And then here's his horizontal side. So this one says when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust this leader if you do exhaust an enemy unit with 4 or less remaining HP. So with him, that means that it's kind of similar to Boba, where something has to happen and then you exhaust them and you get the one thing. So instead of removing an opponent's unit, you play an upgrade and then you get to exhaust them and do the one thing a turn. So when you flip them over, you get as many upgrades as you can play. And then right here, you get the once a turn. And it's also 4 or less instead of 6 or less. It also, in order to deploy them, you need 6 or more resources, which I feel like is more than fair for a 4/7 with an ability like his that's able to possibly exhaust an opponent's entire field. So obviously, if you have Mandalorian, you have to have Grogu or Baby Yoda, as some people know. Grogu is a 2-drop 0/5, which is the biggest 2-drop I think we've seen in the game so far. So are we getting power creep already? Probably not, but it is very interesting. He's also a yellow hero, and he has an action to exhaust him to exhaust an enemy unit. So he's a 0/5 that you can play turn one, and you'll probably be exhausting a unit turn two right off the rip because not many things are going to be able to kill turn one. If anything is able to be able gonna or if anything is going to be able to do 5 points of damage in one turn, on turn one at least. Grogu seems really strong, especially for a deck like Mandalorian. It seems like obviously he's built to fit right into Mandalorian, right? So when you're exhausting things already, you're probably going to be playing stuff like um, I can't. Sorry, it's kind of late right now, but there's other stuff like a lot of yellow stuff will have bounce effects and exhaust effects and stuff. The one I'm thinking of is No Good to Me Dead, but that's a villain card, so you're not going to be playing that in Mando, I believe. But yeah, Grogu seems super strong. Obviously, he's got the unique unit symbol too, because he's a character. Then here's an upgrade that will be in the starter deck. These are all starter deck exclusive cards, by the way. And you can tell by the little S symbol right here where my cursor is. That signifies that these are going to be in the starter deck only. And if it's the same as the first set with Luke and Vader, any starter deck only card you get 3 copies of in the starter deck. So you'll have a whole play set. You get the whole set for buying the deck. So I'm a big fan of that too because games like Yu-Gi-Oh and their structure decks, they'll sometimes put a very playable staple. They'll do it all the time actually, like the number one card or whatever, and they'll put 1 copy of it. So if you want to run a playset, you have to buy 3 structure decks in order to get. And it's the only place they print it. You can't pull that pack. So here, instead of making you buy 3 starter decks or 3 sets of starter decks, You can just buy one and get all the exclusives. And I think that's the healthier way to run a game, and that's how you get people on board long term. Anyway, Mandalorian's Rifle is a 3 resource hero card. It gets +3/+0. You can attach to a non-vehicle unit, a friendly non-vehicle unit. When played, if attached unit is the Mandalorian, he captures an exhausted enemy non-leader unit. So that's a new mechanic. Captures the Mandalorian. He captures an exhausted enemy non-leader unit. So the unit has to be exhausted, and when something is captured, you put the capture card face down under him until he leaves play. So basically, you're taking your opponent's exhausted unit and you're slipping it underneath your Mandalorian. And I assume when the way this is reading, whenever Mandalorian gets killed, um, your opponent will get the unit back. I assume still exhausted, but I don't quote me on that. I haven't actually read the official rulings for that. But from this, that's a very interesting mechanic because this now combos with Grogu. It combos with both sides of the Mandalorian. It's just solid. Like, it's just cool set design too. I mean, this is a new, unique mechanic that's not seen in set one. They're already introducing new stuff, so who knows what they'll do in the future for other cool characters that they haven't done yet. But yeah, Mandalorian's rifle seems really strong. If you're gonna play Mandalorian, um, if any sorts, I guess, there you should 100% be running this. So makes sense. Wanted is a 0 cost upgrade. It's yellow. Attached unit gains bounty ready to friendly resources. When this unit is defeated or captured, its opponent collects its bounty. So you can kill it for the bounty, or you can capture it with something like Mandalorian's Rifle, and then you will get to ready to friendly resources. This is also a new type of upgrade, I believe. There are no bounties in set one, but yeah, it gets +1/+0. It's literally just giving a status essentially for free to a unit, and ideally you would play this obviously on your opponent's units. Because you want to kill them and then receive the bounty, right? So obviously, because it's defeated or captured, combos with Mandalorian. That's why it's a starter deck. Or no, this one is not starter deck only. This is just a common. But yeah, that's cool. That's a cool mechanic too. Placing different bounties. Obviously, this one says ready to friendly resources. But maybe another one will be, convert this bounty into a resource. Maybe it'll be ready a unit. Maybe it'll be draw a card. Like any of those possibilities, there's so many different ways you can do things with bounties, and it's perfect for the Mandalorian, the bounty hunter, right? And then our last card we have revealed here is the space unit, the Razor Crest, which is the Mandalorian's gunship, of course. It's a blue hero for 4, so it looks like the Mandalorian starter deck is going to be yellow-blue, which makes sense because blue has a lot of combos with upgrades. It seems like there's a lot of upgrades in blue. I'm also thinking of the 2-drop force unit that each upgrade you play on it costs 1 less or whatever. Like that would slot right into this too. But anyway, 3/4 Mandalorian vehicle transport is a restore 2. So we've seen that before. Whenever this unit attacks, you heal 2 damage from your base, and then when played, you may return an upgrade from your discard pile to your hand. So you play it, you can return your bounty to your hand, play it again. You can return your Mandalorian's Rifle to your hand, play it again. You can, Mandalorian is based around upgrades. So again, great deck design, great flavor win. This is a starter deck only card also. Mandalorian seems really fun. If you're into upgrades, I like the upgrades personally. It reminds me a lot of it's the same as like auras and Magic the Gathering, but it makes me feel like I'm like bulking up guys or whatever, which is it's a fun feeling. I enjoy it. But Mandalorian's cool. I'm a big fan of Mandalorian. And then right here we have Moff Gideon. But yeah, so I'll give Mandalorian a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below about Mandalorian. So obviously Moff Gideon is the counterpart to Mando. He's a 5. This is his leader unit. This is the unit side, right? So he's cost 5. He's a green and villain. He's a 3/6 Imperial officer. He has Overwhelm, which is the same as Trample in Magic, so any excess damage from a unit goes to the base. And each friendly unit that costs 3 or less gets +1/+0 and gains Overwhelm while attacking an enemy unit. So that is just a static, like every time you attack with a unit that's 3 or less, it gets +1/+0 and gains Overwhelm. That seems to imply that you're looking for kind of more of an aggro build, right? If you're giving stuff trample and stuff, you're running around, you're wanting to run like bulky 3 drops essentially and 2 drops that you can maybe gives them a buff elsewhere or something like that. So that way you can trample over your opponent's smaller stuff too. This is his horizontal side. His action. You can exhaust him to attack with a unit that costs 3 or less. If it's attacking a unit, it gets +1/+0 for this attack. So, oh, and the other thing only triggers on whenever you attack enemy units too. So he's based around just buffing his guys to kill your opponent's guys, which I mean it makes sense for Moff Gideon. It's kind of just like a I don't know. I don't know what else you would do with Moff Gideon, but it feels like there's a couple different characters that this can maybe work with as an ability. But anyway, he costs 5 resources to deploy, or you have to have 5 resources. You don't spend the resources on him, of course. Um, so Mando is 6 and Moff Gideon is 5. Interesting. Very interesting. He seems solid. I think just off rip, if I was guessing, Mando seems stronger. Um, no, I don't want to say that yet. Obviously, I want to see the other stuff that's with them. But anyway, Gideon's Light Cruiser is an 8-drop villain card. He's a 7/8 Imperial Vehicle Capital Ship with Overwhelm, of course. Moff Gideon, everything's Overwhelm. When played, if you control Moff Gideon as a leader or unit, play a villain card that costs 3 or less from your hand or discard pile for free. That seems pretty good. Obviously, it's an auto include in any Moff Gideon deck ever. But getting to play a villain card with 3 or less, and you can resurrect it for free or play from your hand for free is really good. And with 8 resources, you're probably going to be dropping this late game, of course. And you're basically resurrecting something late game for free. That just seems super, super good. But Moff Gideon is kind of orientated around 3 or less, and obviously this one helps the 3 or less or whatever. And it's like I said, it kind of seems like he would be more of an aggro type commander, but maybe he's a mid range, and this would be a perfect one for mid range and stuff. Maybe he might just be like a very front heavy mid range leader, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm cooking or if I'm just completely off and guessing and stuff. But it is a very interesting. This is a really good card, especially with Moff Gideon. It's obviously not as strong if you're not playing Moff Gideon, but maybe you could, if you the Moff Gideon. I assume he's gonna get a unit version too. That's non-leader. If he's worth running 3 of, maybe you could run 1 or 2 of this in a different deck, right? Um, he also just might be a you only run this card with Moff Gideon. Of course, it comes with starter set, so you're gonna get 3 supposedly, right? But it's solid. It's solid. Phase 3 Dark Trooper is a 3-drop green and villain 3/3 with Sentinel, and is Imperial Droid Trooper. When combat damage is dealt to this unit, give an experience token to this unit. Huh. So that just completely power crept Cell Block Guard. And set 2, Cell Block Guard is already power crept. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's like an omen of bad things to come in this game or anything like this because it is green specific. It's green villain specific. Obviously, Cell Block Guard is just villain, but any villain deck that's not running green is still going to run Cell Block Guard. But if you're running green villains, there's no reason for you to run Cell Block Guard over this because it does the exact same thing with a little tacked on bonus of whenever it takes damage, it gets an XP unit. So obviously, it's really good. Cell Block Guard is already a card that's being run in playsets of almost every villain deck. It seems like some aren't running it. Right, that's a very broad generalization. But yeah, it's better than Cell Block Guard. It's good. Honestly, you could run 2 sets of Cell Block Guards essentially if you're running green. You can run 3 of these and then 3 Cell Block Guards, and you have a ton of Sentinels. I wouldn't be surprised if Cell Block Guard just isn't a card that you run with Moff Gideon anyway, because it combos with Moff Gideon. But anyway, Thumbs up for that. Calculated lethality is a 4-drop blue and black. Oh wait, are both the secondary colors on these decks blue? Because I assumed Moff Gideon would be red if Mando was blue yellow, but I guess it's green blue. So that's Iden. That's what I run for my Iden Versio deck. Which, by the way, check out my other videos. There was a tier list where I put Iden in the D tier. I was wrong. I made another video where I said I was wrong, but my Iden Versio deck is green and blue right now, and it's very strong control deck. It's actually like 12-0, I think, total in all the games I've played. I haven't lost with it yet. Anyway, regardless, this is a event. It's starter deck only. Calculated lethality. Defeat a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less. For each upgrade that was on that unit, give an experience token to a friendly unit. Interesting. It seems decent. It seems pretty good. It seems like it'd be really good against Moff Gideon, but I don't know if it'd be good like against. I don't know. My issue when I see this card initially, right? And obviously I haven't sat here and thought about it or looked at any of the other cards or anything like that, but like it just seems very hyper specific on what it wants to do, especially with it has to cost less than 3, and then realistically, if you want to get the most out of it, you have to give you want to kill something that has upgrades. So you want to kill 3 drops with upgrades, because otherwise you're paying 4 to kill something that costs 3. So you're losing a resource, essentially. I don't know. I think so. My first impression, I think this would be a really strong sideboard card, because I think it would just completely destroy certain strategies. It'd be really good against rebels, like rebel aggro, like Sabine even. Specifically like the wing leader combos, because wing leader comes in and gives 2 experience tokens to a rebel unit or hero unit, or I forgot the specific one, but then people will do that with like a green squadron A wing. So if you blow up that, you'll defeat it, and then you'll get to put you basically just transfer the experience tokens over if anything has experience tokens on it. So I don't know, it destroys any Voltron strategy or anything like that. I don't know. That's pretty cool. And then one more thing. Moff Gideon, thumbs up. I love what they're doing with both decks. I think both will be interesting. I think people will play these decks. Even if it's just at a casual level, I don't really know how competitive they're gonna be, especially compared to something like Iden or Sabine or Boba. Those are like really the 3 decks that I think are the best in the game right now. Boba specifically is just crazy value, right? I'm really interested to see what other leaders are going to be in the set, just like period, because I just want to know if something's going to like completely upset the power balance. Like the Dark Trooper is just better than Cell Block Guard. It's just a better Cell Block Guard. It does the same thing and more. So I wonder if there's going to be any leaders that are going to do something similar. Also, this got leaked as well, and it wasn't an official spoiler, I don't believe. I was reading the comment section on this earlier and stuff, but this is the unit version of Mando right here. So he is a blue hero for 6 on the ground unit version. He's a legendary, obviously. He's a 5/6 with Sentinel. And when played, you may heal all damage from a unit that costs 2 or less and give 2 shield tokens to it. So not only does he have Sentinel, but if you have Grogu or something on the field, you get to heal him and then give him 2 shield tokens. Not just 1 shield token, 2 shield tokens. That's pretty good. Especially if your opponent's not running any Saboteur. I mean, that just seems, it's strong. Especially a 5/6 with Sentinel. And if you're running blue hero, you have like Obi-Wan, who's also a big Sentinel. Like, it just seems like blue hero gets access to a lot of just chunky Sentinels, because you could run this in like Chewbacca, because he's blue in hero and he's giving everything. The other blue hero leader right now that we know of is Sharut. I don't know how good this would be in Sharut, but Chewie, I mean, is based around Sentinels, so getting chunkier Sentinels is not a bad thing by any means, right? But yeah, the 2 shield tokens just seems really good. Or I guess you could run it in Luke too, right? Luke's blue, hero blue. He'd be good. He would be good in Luke too, because he's a chunky Sentinel, and then you can heal all the damage and give 2 shield tokens. And Luke's pumping out shield tokens like nobody's business. So yeah, no, he'd be strong, and he's just strong. He's just good. I don't know what else to say. I'm like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, he'd be good in this deck. He'd be good in this deck. He'd be just a solid card in this deck, you know. But yeah, the 2 shield tokens is insane. Wow. Anyways, that's all I have time for today. I hope you all had a great week. I hope you all are gonna have a great week. Please let me know what you think down below. You know, are you excited for the new set? Do you think it's gonna be a flop? Do you think it's gonna be not quite as good? Do you think it's gonna be better? Do you like Mandalorian? Do you like Moff Gideon? Do you like the Grogu card? Do you like all the other stuff? You know, do you like the Mandalorian TV show, but you don't like the cards? Do you think they could have done something differently with the cards? Do you think they're killing it right now? I personally think they're doing really good. But anyway, let me know down below. Leave a comment. Leave a like and subscribe. It lets me keep the lights on in my apartment. Obviously, my lights aren't on. I'm just kidding. I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But I do appreciate the support. It makes me keep doing stuff like this. I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.